LL Cool J, The Force album. Let's talk about it. This is Fresh Hip-Hop Opinion with your guy Olize. Don't forget to subscribe. So yeah, I know this album came out a couple weeks ago, people. You know what? LL Cool J is all over my timeline in my YouTube shorts, everything, doing interviews, and it's kind of cool to see a veteran like that, almost 60 years old, be out here doing the most as if he's just a brand new artist. And I just listened to the album, and you know what? It's pretty good. Completely different from what I expected. Let's get straight into it though. Starting with Spirit of Cyrus. Now this was a cool intro. You know, back in the day, intros was the thing. It had to be good. It was like it's like kickstart the whole album. It's got to be a hot verse or like a good 30 bars even back in the day. But it was a good one. It sets the tone. You know, Snoop's voice on it, I didn't even really realize or recognize Snoop's voice. They put some sort of effect on it. It was actually quite decent. Good start anyway. I put it like an average 6 though. Second track, The Force. It was cool. I ain't got much to say about this. I just rate it a number 6 out of 10. You know what I mean? And then Saturday Night Special. Again, just a bit like averagey. I would say like a 6 or 7 out of 10. You know, I like the fact that Ross was on it. Fat Joe kind of underwhelmed me a little bit. I liked hearing him on a song again. It's been a minute, but I'll put it like I'll say 6. You know what I mean? Now this is when the album got good for me. Black Code Suit. The flow was wild from LL Cool J. It reminded me of old school LL. He sounds kind of like the same, but he can still rap. That's 100%. It was a chilled vibe. That's just more my thing. It actually gave me like a Kendrick Lamar vibe. The production. Kendrick could have definitely used this beat. I rate this a number 8. Next track, Passion. Flow was sick. Probably the best flow from LL Cool J on this album. The flow was really cool. I like this one a lot. I'll rate this a number 7 out of 10. Proclivities. I hope I pronounced that right. That was a good one. I mean, that is definitely the weakest song on the album. Probably the reason why I took so long to even listen to the album, because that single was, I didn't really like it. I didn't like the video either. I thought, nah, LL is too old to be doing this stuff with all these girls popping it in the video and half dressed and all that. It kind of reminded me of the song he did with Jennifer Lopez. Not All I Have, but the other one where there's like a fashion show. Yeesh, I get the ick just thinking about it. But yeah, this song I'll rate number 5. Next track, Postmodern. I really like this one. Again, it reminded me of old LL Cool J. Maybe I was feeling a bit nostalgic with it, but old LL in a good way. The beat was crazy. One of the best beats on the album. Sounded like it should be a single. I don't know if they actually ended up releasing this one. I haven't seen it, but I rate this one 8 out of 10. 30 Decembers. Production was different. It was really cool. You know, I like the way it was just creative. I rate this a 6. Running Back. Production was fire. One thing I'll say about this album, the production was on point. Q-Tip really did his thing. I'll put that at 7 out of 10. One of the most underrated rappers ever in hip-hop history, Busta Rhymes, did his thing as always. Killed it with the flow, killed it with the lyrics. He never does an average verse. It's always good, bare minimum. But this song I wasn't blown away, but I'll put it like a 6 out of 10. The Basquiat Energy. I like the funky feels. I like the production was nice, but overall I just gave it like a 5 out of 10. You know what I mean? It wasn't my thing, but it was cool. It was cool. Praise Him. You gotta appreciate Nas every time. I like the track, but I know these days people aren't in the same studio when they're recording. But this one really gave me the feeling that they really weren't in the studio together. Nas's verse felt so different from LL's verse. There was no real cohesive chemistry between the two in the song. But I still like each person's song, and I just love when legends collaborate like Nas, LL Cool J. So I'm just gonna have to put it as 8 out of 10. Next is Murdergram. Now this obviously definitely was a single. Q-Tip, Eminem, great production, I loved it. You could definitely hear the Eminem style and production in there as well, and you can hear the Q-Tip in there too. So it was a good collaborative effort on a production level. I'm not the biggest fan when Eminem does this speeding up rap thing, but the beat was crazy. I have to give this an 8 out of 10. One of the best songs on the album. Next track, The Vow, which for me was my favorite song on the album, hands down. The production was nuts. This is the type of production I grew up on in hip hop. That hard beat. I could have heard the locks on this. It was hard, man. Had like a cinematic feel as well. That's what made the production like one of the better songs on the album. And don't be fooled, people, with LL Cool J licking his lips all the time. This guy can go tough on a song. Let's not forget Mama Said Knock You Out. Let's not forget what he did to Cannabis. But the other artists did their thing as well, man. They tore it down, especially the guy at the last verse. I don't know who it was, but he ended that song well. I'll give this a 9 out of 10. That's how much I rated this one. But overall, the album, what can I say? The whole thing was produced by Q-Tip. Obviously, Eminem did one song. What I loved about it, it had a whole cohesive feel. That's what happens when you have one producer. A consistent flow to it. Different from what you'll ever hear from LL Cool J. So if you have not heard this album, you need to go check it out because it's really good. Definitely one of the better albums I've heard this year. But if you're looking for the typical LL Cool J album, this ain't it. This is totally different. And that's why I loved it. I definitely recommend you listening to it. Overall, I'll put the album as a 7/8 out of 10. Go check that out, people. And if you have heard the album, I want to know what you think too. Leave a comment below, like, subscribe, and also hit that notification bell. This is Fresh Hip Hop Opinion. Peace and love.